This is Oshkosh Today, your connection to events and organizations in the Oshkosh area. Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.
Hello everyone and welcome to Oshkosh Today. My name is Emily Mikowski, your new host, and I couldn't be more excited to be here with the Media Services team. I can't wait to get to know the city. And to help me do that today, we've got some great guests in the studio. We're going to kick it off with what's become a Saturday ritual for many people in Oshkosh, the farmers market. And then we're going to talk about some of the fun things that the city's parks and facilities offer. We'll check out the new Riverwalk in Oshkosh that's now open, as well as some future plans for it. And we've also got the Winnebago County Fair's Fairest of the Fair in the studio today to talk about what we can look forward to at this year's fair. Then we're going to turn our attention to the pets of Oshkosh with the Friends of Winnebago County Dog Parks and the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. Finally, we'll wrap it up with a segment of Focus on Health with Ted Stefaniak. So my first guests today are Dennis and Carlene Leatherman from the Oshkosh Area Farmers Market. Thank you for coming in today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome to Oshkosh.
Oh, thank you so much. So for someone who's new to Oshkosh like me, do you want to just kind of talk about what the farmers market is in general and what it's all about?
Go ahead.
The Oshkosh Saturday Farmers Market is 5 football fields long, right down Main Street, lining both sides of Main Street. Got about 140 vendors, 11,000 customers every Saturday.
Wow.
And everything that is sold at the market is either grown by, cooked by, or made by the vendors themselves. We don't allow any of the commercial products. Okay.
And when is it during the day?
Saturday mornings from 8 until 12:30. It runs from the first Saturday in June to the last Saturday in October.
Okay. So you said you have over 120 vendors. What kind of things do they sell at the farmers market?
Always produce.
Okay.
We always have produce. They're always high on our list. Prepared foods. Egg rolls are always the staple of the farmers market.
I know that's one thing I'm looking forward to trying, the egg rolls.
So we have several prepared food vendors, many different crafts. And if you're a regular attendee of the market, you'll see probably the same produce vendors each week, but the craft vendors rotate every week.
What do you find is one of the more popular things at the market? Probably the produce?
It depends on what you're looking for. Depends on what eyes people have in that day is what I always say. Are they looking for a craft? Are they looking for produce? The produce is usually what people come for, though.
Right. So where do you find these vendors that come and sell things at the farmers market?
We don't. They find us.
Oh, okay.
We haven't ever gone out searching for vendors. Vendors have found us by word of mouth, and they contact us and ask for a space.
So there's never a shortage of any vendors, is
No.
what it seems like. Okay. So the location, it's on Main Street, you said. Where can people park?
They can park anywhere along Division Street, anywhere along Jefferson Street, the Oshkosh Public Library. They can park in front of the rec gym, park in the Division Street, the Kits and File parking lot. There's any number of parking places that's available. So.
And how did the two of you initially get involved with the farmers market?
Yours.
10 years ago, about 10 years ago, we used to teach line dancing and square dancing. And the manager at that time had heard about us and said, well, why don't you bring your dancers down and do some performances? And we don't really do performances. It's we'll teach you how to dance, join us, and we'll teach you. So we did that for a few years. Then we became helpers. Then we became the administrators. And then we became the managers. So it all was in...
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
So do they still have the line dancing at the farmers markets?
No.
No? Okay.
We don't have time. We're busy up and down the line to do any line dancing. So all of the entertainment now are well-known bands that you would pay to go and see or find at the restaurants around, nightclubs around town.
Right. And so you said you're pretty busy. You're there every Saturday, and you told me earlier that the market's completely run by volunteers, including yourselves.
Right.
Can you tell me about that?
The entire market staff are unpaid volunteers.
Okay.
I'm retired. I've got several good retirement checks from the government and everything, so this is my full-time job. I spend probably 50 hours a week working at the market or for the market.
Wow.
And giving back. You know, the taxpayers are paying my bills.
It's like a full-time job.
Yes, absolutely.
So where can you find volunteers to help?
We're always looking for them. We're
Okay.
always looking for people to help during the day, as far as giving restroom breaks to some of the single vendors, and also looking for some like muscle at the end of the day to help tear down the market, so that as soon as we can get the market down and the streets cleared, we can open it back up to the traffic. So the sooner we get it down, the sooner it gets opened up.
Right. Do you ever have a hard time finding volunteers to do
Yes.
certain jobs?
Even just finding volunteers has been a struggle this year. We have some regular ones that are there each week, but you know, I don't want to burn them out either. So
Right.
you know, we're always looking for some volunteers, even if it's just an hour a day.
Okay. So if someone does want to volunteer, how can they find some information into looking into that?
On our website, OshkoshSaturdayFarmersMarket.com, there's a list on there of volunteer duties. They can call me. My phone number's on the website, and we can just arrange. And even if they just want to show up and say, hey, I'm here to volunteer, we'll put them to work.
Okay. And it's OshkoshSaturdayFarmersMarket.com. Is that
Correct.
Right.
Okay. So again, the farmers market's located on the 400 and 500 blocks of Main Street, and then also the Main and 100 block of Church, which would typically happen, but I think right now maybe it's a little under construction in that area.
No, that's
Still
open.
Okay.
Mhm, that's
See,
open.
Again, I don't know anything about the roads yet around here, so I'll have to come and check it out. So again, if you're interested in volunteering, you can call Carlene at 920-252-2533, or you can email. The website has your email on it as well.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, and I'm looking forward to checking out the farmers market. That'll be on my top list of things to do. So next up, we're going to talk about some great events that the city has to offer with the city's parks, and we'll be right back.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Let me pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
The Payne Art Center and Gardens in Oshkosh proudly presents Chihuly Venetians. This spectacular exhibition features 4 dozen colorful and intricate vessels by America's greatest glass artist, Dale Chihuly, along with his celebrated Laguna Murano chandelier, a 5-part sculpture with more than 1,500 individual pieces of blown glass. Chihuly Venetians is on view now through October 13th at the Payne in Oshkosh.
We're back on Oshkosh Today, and I'm sitting here with Jenny McCallion, who is with Parks and Revenue for the City of Oshkosh. Thank you for joining me today, Jenny.
Thank you.
Welcome. So we've got a ton of great events going on in the city right now with all of our parks and facilities. Can you tell me a little bit about the Leech Amphitheatre?
Sure.
We'll start out with that.
Okay, we got a couple things going on there. Right now, actually, we're in the middle of our Tuesday night concert series called Streaming Live at the Leech Amphitheatre. It's a free concert series on Tuesday nights, sponsored by Citizens First, so we really appreciate that. And it's just live music from 6 to 9. The gates open at 5:30. There's all kinds of people that come down just to enjoy the music. We have concessions. Glass Nickel Pizza does the concessions down there,
Okay.
and then people just come down and listen to the music, and it's a really nice time. Last night we had a great crowd, and it was a really fun band that we had. So
that's a big event in the city. Me being new here, I hear a lot of people talking about it, like, oh, are you going to Live at the Leech tonight, and those kind of things. So it's become a big part of the summer, I think.
Yeah.
So, also at the Leech, there's the Kids from Wisconsin on Sunday, the August 18th.
Yep, and that's always a big event for us. Also, that's also a free event to the community.
Okay.
We have that event. The Kids from Wisconsin take the stage from 3 to 5. We also have a couple people performing before that. So we have David Landau, who is a kids entertainer, from 12 to 1, and then we have the Barbershoppers are playing from 1:30 to 2:30, and then the Kids from Wisconsin will take the stage at 3. And we also have face painting down there, bounce house, some other fun things like that. So it's just a day for the family to come down and enjoy, and it doesn't cost anything. Besides, we do have concessions available there also.
So that's really an event that's aimed at the kids. A lot of fun activities for them.
Yeah, well, and honestly, if you've never seen the Kids from Wisconsin before, they put on a phenomenal show. So there's a lot of all age that come down and enjoy them. I mean, they're just extremely talented kids, and it's a lot of fun to watch them. So
it's a nice, well-rounded event at the Leech. And can you just tell me a little bit about the Leech itself? I'm not too familiar with it. It's a stage, and you have concerts throughout the year there. And
yep, it was built in 2005. And in the beginning, it was run by a private company, and is now run by the City of Oshkosh Parks Department. So we do have several of our own facilities or events there throughout the year. A lot of them are private events. Waterfest rented on Thursday nights for their concert series on Thursday nights. We have a lot of different things down there. The Cornhole Championship. We have a lot of weddings there. We have the Oktoberfest and Irish Fest, and the Dragon Boat races are down there. So there's a ton of fun stuff throughout the summer and fall for the community to enjoy down there.
It's really a focal point of the city too. You can't miss it.
Yeah, and everything's on the website, the Leech Amphitheatre website. So the events for the whole summer are on there. So there's a lot of fun things to check out, and different things for different people. So
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to something I'm really interested in learning more about is the Pollak Community Water Park. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, and it's an absolutely great facility that was built in 2006. So definitely with this cool weather, the numbers haven't been that great in recent days, but it's a place that everybody loves to come to, and it's a nice facility. We do have a lazy river there. We have a drop slide, diving board, tube slides, sand areas, zero depth areas. So it's just a place for the family to come and lounge around, and
they've got it
get
all.
some sun. Yeah, so.
Wow, it looks really nice. And I know on August 15th, Oshkosh Area Community Foundation sponsored day at the Pollak Community Pool. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, that should be a huge day for us. The foundation, they're celebrating their 85th anniversary of being in town here and things, so they're kind of sponsoring an event once a month, and that's the one they're sponsoring in August. So on that day, the admission for everybody to come will be 85 cents, no matter who you are, what your age is. So it'll be 85 cents admission, and then we also are having 85-cent ice cream treats all day. So that'll be a big treat for people
be
too.
A hit.
So yep, and we have some fun things going on that day too, and we have Cookie the entertainer will be coming down to hang out with the kids for that too. So.
That'll be great. And then a few days after that, we've got the Season Pass Appreciation Night coming up.
Yep, and that's an event for people who buy our season passes throughout the whole year. So the water park that day closes at 4. And then it's kind of a special night for pass holders. They get to bring flotation devices in, which is usually not something we can allow on an average day with the number of people that are there. So we got some fun things planned, and they can bring in their flotation devices, and it's kind of just a thank you for them for purchasing a pass for the year. We have kind of a barbecue for them, so they can sign up right now actually in concessions what meat choice they'd like for that night. We provide a barbecue for those pass holders, and so it's a fun
really
night for them.
exclusive event that really makes you kind of proud to have your season pass.
Yep.
And there's going to be a drawing for a season pass as well that night?
We do a drawing that night for a 2014 season pass, so a family there will win the pass for the next year. So
wow, that's something definitely to look forward to. So hopefully the weather will warm up a little bit as
we're hoping
as those dates approach.
Yes.
So good. And then next up, we've got the Children's Amusement Center. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Yeah,
that's some of the kids' favorite thing to do during the summer. We are open June, July, and August every day from 11 to 6. And in May and September, we're open on just weekends and holidays from 11 to 6. So the kids can come down and they can ride the train around. That's the kids' favorite, of course. So we have a merry-go-round and a whip ride. We do rent out kayaks and canoes and aqua bikes and paddle boats. And so it's just a place, we're open open every day to come down and spend some time with the kids and enjoy some of those rides. So, yeah.
How can you rent the different canoes? Is there a place there that you, like a station, you go check in and do that? Or
Yep,
do you
we
have
have
to
the
call?
concession stand to where we sell concessions. That's where you'd also rent the kayaks and canoes or the aqua bikes and things. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Which one of those do you find is the most popular?
Definitely the aqua bikes. I don't think that'll
Really?
ever change. Yeah.
Okay.
People
I'll have
love
to check
those.
that out.
So, yeah.
Does
Yep.
anyone ever tip over on those? Hopefully.
That
would be my first worry.
It's happened on occasion, but let's just say they're usually not quite following the rules when that happens.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hopefully they give you life jackets for that.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so then last on my list for the parks and facilities, we've got the Menominee Park Zoo. I have to get used to that word.
Yeah. That also is, we're open 7 days a week there from 9 in the morning till 7:30.
Okay.
That is a free zoo to the community, and that is because of a sponsorship from Tom and Penny Herrenberg. They donate to the zoo every year to make it a free zoo for the community. So you can come visit anytime from 9 in the morning till 7:30, and we have some permanent animals there, like the elk and the wolves and our aviary or birds, things like that. Dash, our African spurred tortoise, is people's favorite. She kind of just strolls around on her own eating grass. So that's definitely one of the kids' favorites. And then we also have a gift shop up front, the Lakefly Cafe, where we sell general zoo merchandise and concessions and things like that. So on a nice day, it's very busy. It's a very busy place around there. So
yeah, and you don't see very many free zoos anymore, so that's
you
definitely
really don't.
a huge draw to that.
Yeah, and there's so many just coming down to Menominee Park for the day. They can do the zoo and ride the train, and we have a huge playground down there. So it's just a fun place to come with your family and spend the day. So.
Yeah. And then really quickly, you do have an event coming up at the zoo, the Snooze at the Zoo, where you're able to camp out and watch a movie.
Yeah.
That's coming up on the September 7th to the 8th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That is a favorite event of people, too. It's an overnight camping experience. So the kids come and with the families, and they set up their tents, and we have all kinds of animal demonstrations and activities, and so it's great.
All right. Awesome. Well, it sounds like there's a tons of events that are going on all summer long at all these awesome places, and I can't wait to start checking them out.
Yeah.
All the information that you can find for any of these places is on the city's website under parks. Is that correct?
You can go under parks and then departments, and it lists all of our different facilities under there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and telling me about all these cool places.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, and I'll be talking to Alan Davis about what's going to soon become one of the city's most popular spots.
Hi, I'm Mayor Bergtauer, and I'm asking for your help. The city has several boards and commissions that play important roles in just about every aspect of local government. Whether it's the Parks Board or the Landmarks Commission, these and other boards act as a forum for citizens to address their concerns and questions about Oshkosh city government. The boards also provide members the opportunity to make positive suggestions to the council or city staff to move the city forward. So here's where we need your help. For our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Many of our boards and commissions currently need members. We're asking for just a few hours of your time each month to serve on one of our boards or commissions and help to ensure a strong democratic process. So please consider serving on a city board or commission. For an application, visit the city website, stop by the city manager's office in City Hall, or call 236-5000. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your possible involvement.
Thanks again for tuning in to Oshkosh today. Now I'm here with Alan Davis with the City of Oshkosh, and we're here to talk about the Riverwalk. Thank you so much for coming in today, Alan.
You're welcome.
Welcome. So first of all, can you just tell me a little bit about the Riverwalk in general? When did the project even begin?
Well, the city started planning the Riverwalk back in 2005, and they adopted a plan that the Riverwalk would stretch from the Leech Amphitheatre, which you just finished talking about, along the north shore over to about the university location, and then it switches to the south shore and goes all the way along the south shore out to Pioneer Island, around Pioneer Island, and then down to the south end of the marina.
Great. And so I'm under the impression the north side is completely done.
Correct.
And the official opening's coming up on this coming Wednesday now,
Yep.
a week from today. So what can you tell me about that now that the north side's all done?
Well, it was many years of construction. Started in 2010 there by the Leech at Riverside Park. Then we worked on the Marion Road area, which was Jackson over to the university. And this last year or so, we've been working on the city center section, which is where the City Center Hotel is located, all along over to Jackson. So between Main and Jackson is the last piece to be constructed. We're putting the final touches on it right now, and like you said, we're going to have a grand opening ceremony next Wednesday from 5 to 7 there at the City Center section. And this is the north section, connects to the Wyowash Trail that goes up through the university and then on over towards the lake and up to, I think it goes all the way to Hortonville.
Wow. So you're able to walk that whole river walk now, up all down the north side. And now that the north side's done, we're looking forward to moving on to the south side and finishing that up. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. The north side's about a third of the whole project, and we started the south side project last year as well.
Okay.
We started on Wisconsin Avenue, going to the east, kind of going from the Wisconsin Avenue Bridge east to what we call the fishing bridge, or the fishing pier.
Yes.
That used to be a railroad bridge there, and we completely rebuilt that fishing pier, and we're planning on continuing that next section there to the east over to the Geldwin property. We're going through what used to be called I think the Boatworks Marina. So we're going to be constructing that later this year and next summer. And then we're expecting to continue on through the Geldwin property over to Sweetwater Marine and then finally over to the Pioneer Island as the years tick by.
Yes, so eventually the whole river will be lined by the Riverwalk.
Correct.
Hopefully.
Yes.
So
yes.
Speaking of bridges, I heard that there is a historic bridge that's going to be part of the next phase. Is that the same bridge you were just talking about?
Yes. Last year the contractors for the CNN Railroad Bridge across the Fox River donated the portals on both ends of that railroad bridge, and the city, they transport them over to the city's property there at the Boatworks, and we're planning on incorporating those portals. They're all big and kind of rusted from 1899, but they have the 1899 date plate on top of them, so we thought they'd be nice historic artifacts that we can incorporate into the Riverwalk system, since it's always been on the river since 1899.
Right. That's definitely a cool historic aspect to add to it, just to make it that much more unique.
Yes.
And draw people there. It'd be really cool. So how many miles would you say right now is the Riverwalk?
Let's see, probably on the north side it's a little over probably half a mile, but the full length is going to probably be almost 2 miles long if you go from the Leech Amphitheatre all the way down to the marina at the Pioneer. Okay. And if you include the Wyowash, that's lots of miles long. And just to throw in one other plug, the Wyowash will actually have that piece that goes across the new Butamore Causeway Bridge. So there's an additional piece of pedestrian bikeway that'll cross that bridge, and that'll terminate on the south shore of the causeway. So it'll be quite an extensive network. You could really go from out by Highway 41 all the way down to the Leech Amphitheatre and all the points in between.
And on this, the south side, I don't know if you've talked about this yet, but there's going to be a bridge connecting an island?
Yes.
Okay.
The next section we're hoping to build later this fall and next summer would actually span over to an island, and then another span would come down on the upland on the far side of what used to be the marina. So we're building that to arch enough so that you could get boats underneath, even though the marina is not in operation anymore. But it'll give people a little higher view of what the river looks like, and it'll give people a little more interest. And we're hoping to incorporate an osprey nesting box and an overlook on the bridge on the island as well.
Awesome. So that'll be a huge draw, I'm sure.
Well,
just be able to go over a big bridge like that and see the wildlife and everything.
Yes. In fact, it's the marina is not so much a marina now. It's a nice wildlife sanctuary almost.
Great.
So that'll be nice.
So on the other side of things, what does that mean for businesses that are along the Riverwalk?
Well, from what I've seen at say Beckett's and the ground round, they seem to have quite a few people that seem to enjoy the Riverwalk, and I've seen a lot of people with boats sitting outside along that Riverwalk. Even though it's not officially open, we opened it to people, and we're just putting in the final pieces on the lighting and the landscaping. But everybody's been enjoying it quite a bit from what I can tell, and I think that's going to help boost the business in that location. But as time goes by, both at Marion Road and the Jeld-Wen area. We're expecting more people to want to live and recreate along the river, where in the past you really couldn't get to it because it had all been some kind of industrial type of use. And we've converted that into a recreational, commercial, residential type of area.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Make sure to check out the Riverwalk on the north side now that it's complete on August 7th for the grand opening. Coming up next, I have Kayla Stratton, Winnebago County Fair's Fairest of the Fair, in here to talk to me about the fair.
Steampunk, this summer, only at the Oshkosh Public Museum. Come see the most unique and interesting museum exhibit in Wisconsin, and the only exhibit dedicated to steampunk. Wild, fun, and wonderful. Your eyes, ears, and fingers will feast on a fantastical mixture of wondrous machines and gadgets, stunning artwork, and elaborate costumes. Outrageous designs, spectacular styles, and funky gadgets await you. Steampunk, only at the Oshkosh Public Museum.
The Payne Art Center and Gardens in Oshkosh proudly presents Chihuly Venetians. This spectacular exhibition features 4 dozen colorful and intricate vessels by America's greatest glass artist, Dale Chihuly, along with his celebrated Laguna Murano chandelier, a 5-part sculpture with more than 1,500 individual pieces of blown glass. Chihuly Venetians is on view now through October 13th at the Payne in Oshkosh.
We are back on Oshkosh today, and now I'm sitting here with Kayla Stratton, Winnebago County Fair's Fairest of the Fair. It's quite a mouthful.
Yeah, right.
Thank you so much for coming in today. Welcome. So first, do you just want to tell me a little bit about the Fairest program, how you got to the point you're at now?
Well, they do like a contest where you do a radio ad and you talk about the things that you're doing in your life, and then you answer some questions. And we get crowned in April, and then we have a year term that we do.
Okay. How old do you have to be able to apply for that?
Around 18, and it has to be by the 1st of January that you're 18.
Okay. So what kind of things are you doing as the Fairest of the Fair? What kind of events do you go to, and what are your responsibilities?
I have gone to all the community parades, like the Sovereign State Parade, you know, the Oshkosh Parade and all that stuff. I've also gone to the golf course, Lakeview Golf Course, and I've helped out volunteering there and handed out tickets and stuff. I've also done radio ads, and it's just, I'm busy.
And now you're here with me.
Yes, now I'm busy.
And so the fair is coming up.
Yes.
What's your role during the fair itself?
During the fair, I'm kind of the host. I talk to everyone around. I kind of give out ribbons. I speak in front of the entertainment, and I just help out wherever needed.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if you mentioned this yet. How old do you have to be able to be the Fairest of the Fair? 18?
18, yep.
Okay,
18.
And how do you apply?
You go online to WinnebagoCountyFairOnline.com.
It's all on the website?
Yep, on the website, and you print off the application and you send it in to the fair board himself, and they call you about a couple months ahead of time to make sure that you have a day.
Right. Awesome. So moving towards the fair itself, what kind of events can we look forward to at the fair this year?
Well, on Tuesday for the grandstands, we have Oshkosh Speed Zone Raceway. They're going to be doing their dirt racing there. We also have the rodeo, the county tractor pulls, demolition derbies, and then this year we have donkey racing this year.
Donkey racing.
Yeah, right?
Wow, that should be interesting. What do you think is your favorite part of the fair as a goer?
My favorite part would be to go into the barns and see all the animals and see the shows that the 4-H and the FFA members all do.
I think that's my favorite part too. So where exactly is the fair located?
The fair is located at the Sunnyview Expo Center in Oshkosh.
Okay. How much are tickets?
The tickets, in advance you get $10, and then at the gate it's $12.
Okay. And when exactly is the fair?
It is actually next week Tuesday,
Next
the
week
6th
Tuesday.
to the 11th. Yep.
Okay, so that's about a week that it
Yep,
lasts?
about a week. Yep.
Okay, great. So what other types of things can we see at the fair?
We have the competition of the dock dogs, and we also have like wrestling, and Wisconsin singers will be showing up. We have country artist Jessie Brown 2 nights, Friday and Saturday.
Awesome.
She's pretty big.
Now, I see someone wood carving. What
Yes.
is that all about?
There are a couple of guys that come and they do they do bears, they do eagles. It's pretty cool to watch them do it out of
That's
logs
awesome.
and everything.
And you mentioned dock dogs. What
Dock
exactly
dogs.
is that?
They throw like pigeon things in the water and they jump off of a deck and they try to
Okay.
catch it. And it's kind of like a how far they can jump type of thing.
Okay, kind of like a competition
Yeah,
then, too.
right.
Okay. And then Wednesday you mentioned is Oshkosh Corp Day. Can you
Yes.
tell me about that?
If you work at Oshkosh Corporation, you bring in your badge to the gates, you get in the grounds for free. It's they're a big sponsor, and we want to support them and
Right.
make sure that they are having fun and coming to the Winnebago County Fair.
So it seems like a lot of really cool things to see at the fair this year.
Yes.
A lot of different events ranging from concerts to dock dogs.
Yeah,
to,
right.
What kind of food is going to be there?
Well, we'll have like the gyros, and we'll have the deep fried Twinkies and funnel cakes.
All right.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite part of going to any kind of fair is the food and just
Yes.
anything greasy, that's good for me. So just to recap a little bit, can you tell me again where the fair is, the times, price of the tickets?
The Winnebago County Fair is at the Sunnyview Expo Center in Oshkosh. The advanced tickets are $10, and at the gate it's $12.
Okay, and August 6th to
August-
11th.
Yep, to the
Opening
11th.
day at 5 p.m.
Yep.
You can get any more information at WinnebagoCountyFairOnline.com. And thank you again for coming in,
No
Kayla.
problem.
I really appreciate it. It was great meeting you,
Thanks,
and good
meeting
luck
you too.
at this year's fair.
Well, thank you.
And your whole year of activities that you're going to be doing.
Yes.
So coming up next, they may not be the fairest, but they're definitely the furriest. I'm talking about the dogs of Oshkosh, and we're going to find out where they like to play coming up next.
Steampunk, this summer, only at the Oshkosh Public Museum. Come see the most unique and interesting museum exhibit in Wisconsin, and the only exhibit dedicated to steampunk. Wild, fun, and wonderful. Your eyes, ears, and fingers will feast on a fantastical mixture of wondrous machines and gadgets, stunning artwork, and elaborate costumes. Outrageous designs, spectacular styles, and funky gadgets await you. Steampunk, only at the Oshkosh Public Museum.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Then we pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
We're back on Oshkosh today with Michelle Kennedy from the Friends of Winnebago County Dog Parks. Thank you so much for joining me today, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So can you just first tell me a little bit about the Winnebago County Dog Parks in general?
In general, it's a off-leash, 9-acre-ish park where dogs can be off-leash to exercise with their owners. and in accordance with all the city and county laws. And they can play, throw frisbee, walk, exercise. I just read a statistic that approximately 40% of dogs in this country are obese. So being able to exercise them is very important, and this is one way to do that.
Definitely, and I can vouch for that. My dog's a little heavy too. And a lot of people don't have a place like the dog park to go to, so it's definitely a great thing for them to have, to be able to go and get some exercise.
In Winnebago County, it's the only place they can go off leash.
Really? Okay.
Legally.
Yeah, I guess so. So can you tell me, what's the current location, the size, hours, that kind of thing?
Sure. We're located in Winnebago County Community Park, which to residents of the Oshkosh area also is known as County Park.
Okay.
Across the street from Sunnyview Expo Center. And the park we're on the north end of the park, right off of County Y.
Okay.
Due to the one-ways and everything, it might be a little bit of a challenge to get to us. Just look for us would be the northeast corner of County Park.
Okay, and what kind of amenities does the park have?
Thank you for asking. We don't have too many. We do have a porta potty.
Oh, okay.
for people, and we do have some lighting out there, so you can be out there when it gets dusky, darkish, because we are open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
Till
11 p.m.
Till 11 p.m. That's
okay.
what county park hours are. So we're open the same as what county park hours are.
Great, which gives people who work a lot of time to be able to get out there
Absolutely.
and make the most out of it. I understand you have a walking trail too?
There's a walking trail going
okay.
around the outer perimeter of the dog park. On the inside of the dog park along the outer perimeter.
Okay.
It is on the inside of the park though.
Awesome, and that's an on-leash area?
Nope, that's all off-leash.
Oh, really?
It's within the fenced-in area, so your dogs can be off-leash in that area.
Excellent. What kind of rules do the dog owners have to follow?
The rules. Now, if you've ever taken your dog to an off-leash dog park, it doesn't matter what's posted, they all have their own sense of what they need to do. We like to have your dog to be up to date on its shots. That is a city ordinance. They must have their rabies and they must be licensed by the state of Wisconsin. That is a state law. Other than that, if you can have your dog under voice control, that's helpful. If it's not under voice control, it's something to work on while you're out there. Make sure that your dog does come if there should be an incident that it doesn't get too far ahead of you, that you can separate them and redirect their attention to other things.
And just to clarify, voice control is if you call them, they come and they listen to what you're saying. They're not kind of all on their own a little bit?
Correct,
okay.
correct. That's the best way to keep the park working well. By allowing them to play though and socialize and walk with you, if you're moving with them and they're paying attention to you, that keeps down any incidences also.
So how exactly does your group interact with the operations of the dog park?
We are a nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization that works with Winnebago County in supporting the park by doing a lot of the manual labor out there, such as fixing the pathways, such as pulling invasive species such as grapevines out of the trees and the shrubbery so they don't die and they're not choked off.
Right.
We do a lot of fundraising, and those are to help fix the cost or help pay the cost of fixing the fencing and getting the other supplies to finish working with the dog park.
Great, and I know you have some really exciting events coming up. Can you tell me about first of all, the doggy paddle?
Oh, we've got our last doggy paddle of the season coming up August 24th. From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's 3 shifts, 11 to 1, 2 to 4, 5 to 7.
Okay.
The dogs get to go into the old Humane swimming beach, which is just across the road from the dog park. People might know it as the old Humane swimming beach in County Park. And they can be off leash in 3.5 acres of pond and play in the water and have a lot of fun. It's $5 to get in. Please bring written proof of rabies to that.
Okay.
One dog to a person. So if you have multiple dogs, bring friends with you.
All right, and you have to be 18 years of age or older to be able to
be with
do
a dog, yes.
Okay. And then next to the Winnebago County Pet Expo. Can you tell me about that?
The Expo, the first Winnebago Pet Expo is coming to the area on October 5th, starting at 10 a.m. We have 100 booths. Several vendors have already signed up for that. We have sponsors that have been signing up, and look for it to be a great time, including a petting zoo. We're looking for, yes, we're looking at, we do have some, excuse me, my apologies, petting zoo and my allergies must be acting up. And we do have some other activities for the family, so it'll be a great day for family to come out and enjoy. You cannot bring your pets along though. We'll have pets for exhibit to look at, play with pet, learn more about. The Herpetology Society out of Madison will be coming up and doing a lot of education on, as I call them, the creepy crawlies and reptiles and things like that. And we'll have seminars also, and food will be available.
So not only dogs, but all kinds of pets.
All kinds,
there.
Yep.
Okay, and you also mentioned something about the canine comfort dogs?
The canine comfort dogs will be there also. They've been the dogs that have been going to like the Boston Marathon bombing.
Okay.
They went out and helped the people in the hospitals overcome some of the grief and the tension. They were out on the East Coast with the bombings out there, and they're actually out of Chicago.
Great.
And they're very excited to be able to come up and share what they do and how they do it, and how the love of an animal and can really help relax a person and deal with stress.
Yeah, well, it sounds like an awesome event, and you can find more information about the dog parks and for these events at WinnebagoCountyDogParks.com. And thank you so much again for being here. And
thank you for having me.
Of course. So next up, staying on the topic of pets, I've got the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
Hello, I'm City Manager Mark Roloff. Roundabouts are new to many of us in Oshkosh, so we have to take extra precaution when using them. Remember, safety is the key. Slow down. The speed limit in the roundabout is only 15 miles an hour. Avoid distractions. Focus all your attention on navigating the roundabout. Find the proper lane. Check out the signage leading up to the roundabout. Choose your lane assignment early and stay in your lane. Evaluate the situation. Take notice of what kind of vehicles are in front of you. Sometimes larger trucks need to take up both lanes of a roundabout. Think to look for pedestrians and allow them to cross when entering and exiting a roundabout. Yield to traffic on your left. You must yield to all traffic in the roundabout, and that traffic will be coming from your left. Again, safety is the key. Remember that word and what those letters represent, and your roundabout driving experience will be a smooth one. Thanks for your support.
Thanks again for tuning in to Oshkosh today. I'm here with our final guest of the day, Cheryl from the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. Thank you for coming in today, Cheryl.
Thank you for having me. It's really fun to be here.
Good to have you. So first of all, if you just want to tell me about the animal shelter in general, what's it all about?
Well, a lot of people maybe don't know that our organization is really just 20 years old.
Really?
Before the Oshkosh Area Humane Society became to be, the animal shelter was under the jurisdiction of the police department. And in 1993, we took over the running of the shelter. And so a lot of people still think that the shelter is run by the city of Oshkosh, but it's really run by a private 501c nonprofit organization. We do have a service contract with the city of Oshkosh, which means that we are under contract to help pick up stray animals and care for them. We also work very closely with the police department when they have to do, maybe they find a pet that is in an abusive situation or a neglect case, or someone who's gone to the hospital, an animal or a family that might be involved in a car accident and the pet was in the car. We work with the police department to bring those animals into the shelter and care for them until they are either released back to their owner or surrendered over to the Humane Society. So that is our primary connection with the city of Oshkosh, is working closely in those situations. But otherwise, we are there to take in animals and to adopt them out.
Okay, and I know you told me earlier that you're a life-saving shelter. What does that mean?
In 2009, we became a life-saving shelter, and what that means is we do not euthanize animals for space. You know, there's a misnomer out there. If you use the word no-kill, a lot of people have a different description of what a no-kill is, and some no-kill shelters will hold animals for unlimited amounts of time, or they only accept cream of the crop animals that can be readily adopted, where we prefer not to use the term no-kill. We prefer to use life-saving. And what that means is every adoptable animal will receive a chance to be adopted, to find a new home, and it does not matter how long they are with us. As long as they are doing well at the shelter, we are going to do everything possible to find that pet a home. And that's why with the life-saving mission that we have, we utilize a lot of foster homes. I know you're probably going to get into this, but for an example would be right now we have 297 cats under our care.
Yes.
And the building itself only comfortably holds 150. And so what we do is kittens, elderly cats who don't do as well at the shelter are put into foster homes. And those foster homes, we pay for all the supplies for the foster home. The person who is being the foster home, all they need to do is provide the love and attention and keep in touch with us, and we take care of everything else. And then when there's room at the shelter, those animals come back and are adopted out, which also is, that's a really key to the life-saving mission, is our foster
program. So kind of like a temporary babysitter type idea. Okay, so how many animals do you take in a year?
We take in about 2,500 animals a year.
Wow.
So that's a lot of animals coming in.
Where do they all come from?
Well, primarily the city of Oshkosh, because we are the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. So there are some townships that we contract with where they have a contract that if they have stray pets, those also come into our shelter. And if somebody from an outlying area that is not contracted with us, they would have to pay a fee in order to bring their animal to us. But we try our very best to accept all animals that are brought to us.
Okay, and I know you said you have over 200 cats.
Over 200.
Why so many cats?
Unfortunately, Emily, our society doesn't value cats as much as they do dogs. So we see 4 times as many cats as we do dogs. And I don't know if it's because of dogs' personalities or what it is. When dogs are lost, more owners go out and look for their dog. With cats, it seems that, the cat is gone, it'll come back eventually, and they don't really look for it, or if the cat is gone, they don't think to come and look for it at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. Cats also breed more readily. They're kind of like rabbits in that respect. They can have 3 to 4 litters of kittens a year. And so that multiplies really, really fast. And so there's more cats out there. And so that's why we're always encouraging people. It's so important to have your pet spayed and neutered.
Right. So besides dogs and cats, what kind of animals do you adopt?
We have rabbits, hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs. Snakes, we do not have snakes, but however, if we get any reptiles or snakes or ferrets, those are referred to rescue groups that handle those types of animals. But your basic small mammals that most people would have at home, we do occasionally get some of those in, and we try to rehome them as quickly as possible.
So definitely process that you can have to get a pet.
And we're really trying, Emily, to make this as easy as possible. We have a short application that people fill out, tell us a little bit about themselves. We try to process their application in 24 to 48 hours. And if you own your home, that's great. If you don't, we need to hear from your landlord. And usually, like I say, we can turn it around. We do ask our adopters to attend an adoption session where we're going to give them lots of information to take home with them to make sure that the introduction into the home is as smooth as possible. And we also want to ensure that it's a good match for the people that are adopting this animal, because our ultimate goal is we want the animal to remain in that home for the rest of its life.
Right. And I understand you have a shelter trek coming up?
One of our biggest fundraisers is coming up. We're really excited about that. It is our 20th annual Shelter Trek. Shelter Trek is a dog walk. We have special approval from the City of Oshkosh to have the dogs at South Park. And so we will be having registered walkers coming. Anyone, you don't have to have a dog to come. Because I'm working that event, I never get to bring my dog with me. And we love to, what I love about Shelter Trek is I get so spoiled. I get to pet all these different breeds of dogs. We have a lot of fun things for people who bring their dog to do. We have the tail wag, the best kisser contest. We have the costume contest. You can try to see if your dog likes to do agility or fly ball. This year we're going to have the doggy dash, something a little bit different. We also have the Mutz Art, where you and your pet can paint a t-shirt. So there's a lot of things going. It's a lot of fun.
So
events going registration at 8 o'clock. And we're usually wrapped up by noon.
And you can find all that information at oahs.org.
That's exactly right.
Thank you so much for coming in today, Cheryl.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll get you in again soon for your next event.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So now it's time to focus on health with Ted Stefaniak.
This Focus on Health segment is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Ted Stefaniak. Today we're at the Aurora Medical Center in Oshkosh, and we're actually standing in the cardiac cath lab. A lot of amazing technology in this room. Hopefully you never need it, but you know, it's things like lifestyle and family history that make that decision as to whether you're actually going to need help here at Aurora. And that's going to be our Focus on Health today as we sit down with Dr. Sumit Ringwala. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're talking about arterial disease. Tell us, what exactly is that?
So when you think about arterial disease, it's basically too much cholesterol going into the walls of your arteries. When we talk about peripheral arterial disease, which is what we're talking about, it's arteries outside of the heart. Mostly when people talk about peripheral arterial disease, it's arterial disease in the legs. That's where people notice it the most. But arterial disease can happen everywhere in your body. It can happen in your kidneys, it can happen in your aorta, it can happen in your neck, your carotid disease, it can cause strokes, and it can cause, you can even have it in the arteries that go into your gut and supply your digestive system with blood.
Yeah, we've seen some video, you showed us some video before we started taping here, and actually the garbage that comes out of your arteries. Does that pretty much affect everyone, or is there a certain group that it affects more?
You know, I think when you think about arteries, you got to think of it like a warehouse. You know, everybody's got the same type of warehouse. They all have arterial walls, and the way that it affects people differently is if you have high cholesterol, you're putting more stuff into the warehouse, and you have high bad cholesterol, you're putting more stuff into the warehouse, and if you have good cholesterol, basically takes stuff out of that warehouse. And so when you have somebody that has a big family history that is bad of heart disease or peripheral vascular disease, you have too much bad stuff going in and not enough good stuff coming out of that warehouse.
Pretty much everybody has some type of arterial buildup. I mean, even at a very young age. But what puts a person more at risk?
So when you think about risk factors of heart disease, risk factors include diabetes, age greater than 70, family history of heart disease, high blood pressure, and really having high cholesterol. Those are the main risk factors, and when you think about modifiable risk factors, which means things that you can change your blood pressure by taking your pills, your cholesterol by taking your pills, and you can stop smoking. Those are the factors that you can actually change.
Symptom-wise, we all have some kind of blockage, but at what point, what would be some of the symptoms that a person would have to realize that they're going through to actually seek out medical attention?
First of all, if you start to experience these symptoms, you should talk to your primary care doctor. The symptoms actually include basically heaviness in your legs, numbness in your legs, tingling in your feet, and a lot of times those symptoms worsen when you exert yourself. When we're specifically talking about arterial disease in your legs, it amounts to walking up a flight of stairs or 2 flights of stairs that before you really didn't have any problem, but now you know, your legs are hurting, your calf is hurting when you get to the top of the stairs. This basically, a lot of times, people when they're older say, well, I'm just getting old. But, you know, it's not, it doesn't have to be like that. A lot of times when you have peripheral disease, it creeps up on you. So you start to get cramping at 250 yards. You're like, well, now I can't walk more than 250 yards. Then you start getting at 200 yards, then 100 yards, and then at some point in time, you just can't walk anymore.
Yeah. Well, if you're starting to experience some of these symptoms, or you've got a family history, or maybe some of the other risk factors, screening, I would imagine, is the next step for those people.
Yeah, and when you go to your primary care provider, what they will most likely do is ask you family history, ask you questions about high blood pressure, ask you some questions about risk factors, and then also your symptoms. And once you start to have symptoms, it is very important for them to screen you. And the screening that they do is what we call an ankle brachial index and segmental pressures. This is specifically for your lower extremities. And what they do is they check the blood pressures in your arms and compare it to the blood pressures in your calves. And if you have a big difference in blood pressures, it can be indicative of disease in the arteries that supply blood down into your legs.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the treatment options then?
So some of the most important treatments are actually preventative and lifestyle modification. You got to get your diabetes under control. You have to get your high blood pressure under control. You have to have your cholesterol under control. That's where you start. You have to get those risk factors under control because those are risk factors that affect all the blood vessels in your body, including your heart, including the blood vessels into your head, including the blood vessels into your legs. If you control those, you have less of a chance of getting a stroke, of getting a heart attack. And those are what peripheral arterial disease is it also is a big time risk factor for the other diseases of vessels in your body. And one of the most important things you do is change the risk, modify the risk factors that you can modify, lose weight, do all those exercise things. That decreases your heart attack and stroke risk. But if it's specific to your legs, after you've done a walking program where you're in our peripheral vascular disease rehab and we push you to walk and you're still having pain in your legs, we have a couple options. One, we can do something that's a little bit minimally invasive, which is an endovascular procedure, and that's something that I do. And what we do is we go in with an angiogram, take a look and see what your leg's vasculature looks like. And if we have blockages, we can put a wire past those blockages and try and fix it with a balloon or a stent, or even try to take out some of that cholesterol plaque by an atherectomy, which is scraping out the side and pulling out some of the cholesterol.
Yeah, and it sounds like taking care of some of those risk factors, making some adjustments in your lifestyle, certainly might prevent a professional visit to see you.
Exactly.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Thank you very much.
Now, if you're experiencing any of the symptoms that Dr. Ringwala talked about, or you have family history, or any other questions about arterial disease, you should contact your primary care provider. Or you can call Dr. Ringwala at Aurora Medical Center at 303-8700. You can also find Dr. Ringwala and his partners over at Mercy Medical Center, and you can contact them at 223-2000. I'm Ted Stefaniak, and we'll see you next time on Focus on Health.
This Focus on Health segment has been brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Thanks, Ted, and that'll do it for this episode of Oshkosh Today. Thank you so much for joining me on my first episode. Make sure you tune in to CATV2 for all of your community programming and replays of the latest episodes of Oshkosh Today. Or to view past episodes, you can go on our website, oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. And you can also like us on Facebook or Twitter. If you like or follow us on Twitter, you can get regular updates on community, city news, and programming. You can also listen to us on the radio at 101.9 WOCT. And finally, if you'd like to be a guest on Oshkosh Today, you can email me at emikowski at ci.oshkosh.wi.us. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 North West Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. To find replay times for Oshkosh Today, to be a guest on the show, or to watch online, visit our